If you're a longtime fan of News for Reasonable People, welcome back. You also know this channel is Dunk on Portland. We jokingly refer to that, or maybe, hey, another Walmart's closing. That's been the theme as of late. Walmart closing in Democrat-run cities that are just run so poorly that the shoplifters are taking all the profit, and Walmart corporate is saying, no mas, we're out of here. Got a lot of that going on, right? Getting back to Dunk on Portland. This is a Dunk on Portland podcast for sure. This is a good one. Schmidt show. Billboard criticizing Multnomah County's district attorney goes up in Portland. It is damn near 4 stories high. I'm guessing it's like 35 foot tall. And, oh man, width-wise, I don't know. But it takes up the better portion of, call it a 4 or 5, 6-story building in Portland. Record crime? Check. Fewer prosecutions? Check. Empty jail beds? Check. Portland is a Schmidt show. Demand action now from people for Portland. Let's get into it. Who are the people from Portland? What's going on? Why are they putting a billboard up? Well, if you have to ask that, you're probably new to this channel. Let's get into it. Let's see what we got going on. This is so funny. Portland is a Schmidt show. and Antifa is upset because this is their boy. This is their boy that kept them all out of jail. It's like, you're a peaceful protester? No charges for you. That literally happened night after night after night. So the police didn't even bother after a while. They just say, we're not going to arrest anybody. Because this joker right here, who is claiming that he's doing all the work that he can. Yeah, he's got a year and a half before his election is up, and he is running for another term. It was kind of like, we just had but citizens of Chicago, instead of going with a moderate who was endorsed by the police union, they went with this progressive. You got, record high violence of 25 years in the city of Chicago after, our genius Lori Lightfoot, was the first mayor in 40 years to not get reelected, did such a bad job that Chicago said, nope, you're out of here. But then they hire another knucklehead. When are they going to learn? I guess they're not. They're just going to have, hundreds and hundreds of people get murdered each year. And, it's okay. It's all right. Here in Portland, got record levels of murder going on as well, too. A billboard criticizing Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt went up Tuesday morning in downtown Portland. The billboard, located at 2nd and Washington Street, reads, "Portland is a Schmidt show." Next to a large picture of Schmidt, it includes more text that reads, record crime, checkmark, fewer prosecutions. I just did all this for you, but we're doing it again because it's funny. Fewer prosecutions, checkmark, empty jail beds, checkmark. You could add a lot of stuff to that list, but I get it. The graphics, you've only got so much room on a damn near 40-foot tall billboard. That's the funniest thing. It's just great. Many have called, and you know what? It's sad though. It's sad for the citizens of Portland because this is literally their reality, but this is their reality they voted in. Yeah. This doesn't just happen. I woke up today and we got record levels of violence and got 11,000 cars being stolen to do said, criminal activity. You got people, living just willy-nilly wherever. The mayor can't figure out what to do. You got businesses leaving. Walmart just took its last 2 stores of Portland out. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. We're trying to figure out ways to get more people into the downtown core because the downtown core in Portland is probably the worst to recover. It's neck and neck with San Francisco, right? Neck and neck with San Francisco of people not going back. San Francisco's got a lot of the same problems as well. Yeah, many have called out Schmidt's perceived soft touch on crime approach for months on social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit. The billboard says it was paid for people for Portland. The organization has been increasingly visible in recent months with YouTube, print, and digital ad buys. The People for Portland is a self-described platform and voice for Portlanders to take action to rescue our broken city. Well, somebody needs to take action. But again, it's kind of like, being employed by the homeless industrial complex. Kind of, you got a job for $250,000 and your job is to end homelessness. It's like, really? Because, if all this was taken care of and Portland went back to just being a normal city, I'd have to find another Portland to recover on. Can't have that, right? No, it's crazy. Portland has gone down crazy town roads, right? Used to be, Portland's always been a little whacked. And by whacked, I mean, it's got its own Portland unique, Portlandia, keep Portland weird. It's always had that angle, right? So this is nothing new. But not too long ago, it was a Portland that I think more conservative folks and more reasonable folks could embrace. They could get behind it, kind of like Seattle. I live here and there's so much nonsense that happens in Seattle that happens just like in Portland that it's tough to take at times. But then there's enough stuff that goes on where you're like, yeah, okay, there's still a reason I live here. There's still a reason. And I live in the burbs, right? I do not live in downtown anywhere because that's not really where you want to be. But, not too long ago, I think you had a lot more reasonable people in Portland who are like, hey, there's still enough to keep me going here. But now you've got people for Portland. You've got these organizations popping up because they are pointing out the obvious that so much of government controlled entities in Portland, it's just broken. It's wildly broken. The 100+ nights of riots by the far left in the summer of 2020, that was a pretty good indication. And that's where, Schmidt kind of got his, he kind of really got going, hey, greatest district attorney ever. And we're not going to prosecute anybody for anything. And then you have, what the criminal activity go on in Portland. Schmidt won election into the office in May 2020 with about 75% of the vote on a platform of ending mass incarceration and holding law enforcement accountable. How is that working out? How is running on that platform? How has that worked out for residents of Portland? You don't have enough cops, period. You can't get a cop when you need one because they're out doing, what they can with wildly understaffed numbers. Now you might have, we've got 100 new recruits. We've got 100 people coming to the police department. Those folks have to go through training. And then you got a bunch of rookies running around. Do you really want that? Nah, you need to be able to retain the guys and girls with the experience. And Portland, you have just pooped on your police personnel. You just took one huge number 2 on them repeatedly for months. And then you wonder, how come we don't have enough police to cover our public safety? What happened? Yeah. Under Schmidt, Portland recorded a record high number of shootings and homicides in 2022. Keep in mind that this comes on yet another year of record homicides and shootings. And that was 2021. So, we are literally, hate to say it, but trailblazing inroads here on escalating crime and violence. Portland Trailblazers, see what I did there? Yeah. Clyde, the Glide, Drexler, Portland Trailblazer. Need I say any more? Probably not. We're just going to move on. How about Bill Walton? That guy was kind of a weirdo, wasn't he? Just big Matt, that headband, listen to the Grateful Dead. Was he just a hippie? I was a little kid and I remember getting his baseball card going, hey, guy's got a headband. He looks just kind of like a hippie. Weird. Well, he could sure play ball when he wasn't hurt, right? City officials, including Schmidt, have blamed the violence in Portland on dwindling police ranks and a severe lack of public defenders. Schmidt's office released the following statement regarding the billboard. Here's what Mikey said. The dissemination of misinformation undermines the work of the district attorney. Well, is that disinformation? I don't think it is. I think that's accurate. It's accurate, right? It undermines the work of the district attorney and discredits the dedicated work of all employees in the Multnomah County District Attorney's office who are doing nothing because they are literally not charging people and who they claim, I'm making this up at this point in time, and they claim it's the fault of the police officers for not bringing them enough information on these charges. And they're only doing what they can do based on what the cops give them. Yeah, rightio. Multnomah County District Attorney's Office, who are serving our county during one of the most challenging periods in recent memory. Some would say that the reason this is the most challenging period in recent history, in recent memory, is because of policy decisions to not charge people for criminal activity. And so therefore they know they can get away with it. Not charge people for drug possession. Basically, you got a whole bunch of people on drugs living in homeless encampments. You got people committing crimes. You got people committing shootings. You got gang activity. They're just shooting each other left and right. That's what you got going on. And then you've got a district attorney and not enough prosecutors to make a go of it because nobody wants those jobs. They're underpaid. And yeah, it's just the whole system isn't going anywhere. I mean, it's going somewhere. It's going backwards, right? It's going backwards. And people of Portland know it, and they're just putting up a billboard saying, hey, here's what you got. The truth is that Multnomah County District Attorney is prosecuting cases referred to us by law enforcement. Here's where you blame law enforcement. At the same rate as we did in 2018 and 2019. All right, full stop. How is that working out for you? Did crime go down at the rates you're talking about? Has crime gone down? Shootings and murders, have those gone? Oh, they haven't? You had 2 record years in a row? Huh. Interesting. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but I'm sure I'm no social, worker either. I'm sure there's some correlation there, right? I mean, yeah. Now you got a district attorney he's not doing his job, just letting people go. This is what you get. This is what you voted in. He wants to end mass incarceration. Well, that effectively just means you're not, incarcerating anybody. And that is what's going on. You need to arrest some people, take them off the streets, need to put some people in jail, need to put the bad offenders that we know are bad offenders. Seattle has a list. Portland's got a list. Everybody's got a list. They just look at that list and go, geez, if we actually arrest all these people, it's not going to look good. This isn't going to look good. Those numbers. Yeah. So let's just let them keep doing some crime because that's what they're doing. In fact, our issuance rates for property crimes, including stolen car cases and firearm cases, are significantly higher than those in years and climbing. How is that working out? You are claiming that what you're doing is having a positive impact. You're claiming these stats. Yeah, no, just look at Portland. Look at their crime. And there is so much criminal activity that is just flat not being reported because it's no longer criminal activity, right? It's just, oh, that's not a crime anymore. It's good. Yeah, it used to be a felony. Misdemeanor. We're not even going to charge. We're not even going to give you anything for that. We're just going to, hey, have a nice day. Try not to kill yourself, try not to kill others. Yet the focus of our office is not simply on prosecution rates, but rather on successful outcomes. Again, I ask, how is that working out? Are you having a successful outcome with everything you got going on in Portland? Is that happening? Did you have record levels of shootings and murders last year? Oh, you did. You did. Okay. Well, then the successful outcomes. Tell me about those. Where's those? Where do we have those? Yeah. Such as serving victims. You know what I hear? You know what I read all day long is how people call 911. Somebody comes much later in the day and they say, hey, sorry, I was working on that triple homicide that we had just last weekend. Yeah. I was working on those 11 fentanyl overdoses, which resulted in 3 deaths. I was working on that. That's in the last few days in Portland. So such as serving victims. Well, yeah, that's a relative concept. That means, you service them by what? Doing what? Yeah. Victims in Portland are they're not getting the help that they need. There's a low level of that going on. But by low, I mean minimal to less than minimal. Substandard. Holding offenders accountable. I'm sorry. I thought you said that your focus is on holding offenders accountable. Huh. Yeah, because that is certainly not happening. Because you got the Wild West going on in P-Town, right? And reducing recidivism. Okay, whatever. But you're just talking words at this point. At Multnomah County District Attorney, we are actively working to achieve these outcomes. Well, yeah. So in your head, this is what's going on. And this is the political speak you're giving to, population in general. Look at the reality of how Portland looks right now. It's a laughing stock in North America, right? It's the laughing stock of North America. And so much of it comes down to what's going on right here. Yeah. Criminal activity. Till you start squaring that away. Yeah. You just got nut jobs walking around all over. You've got a broken social system. You got homeless people just literally living in 800-900 encampments throughout the city. And then you got people throwing them tents and throwing them tarps. And then, oh, hey, wait a minute. Too many of the homeless people are burning up and ending in the burn ward of the ICU, whatever that is. So no more tarps, no more tents because those burn. So more people are dying from burning up in their tent than they are from the elements, from cold, right? So, I mean, in what area does that happen? I mean, where does that happen? In addition, prosecution and incarceration alone cannot prevent crime. There has to be a collaborative approach with law enforcement and community partners to get in front of the issues to prevent crime. All right, well, I'm waiting for you to get in front of crime. I'm waiting to hear it. Because, there's a lot of cities that aren't waiting to get out in front of crime. They just never let it get out of control in the first place. Portland, not being one of those towns, right? The district attorney is actively doing this. For example, he is working with Portland Police Bureau, GBD, and MCSO Sheriff's Office on new strategies for increasing vehicle theft interdiction. He implemented the neighborhood persecution program. How many programs were shut down? Portland Police Bureau. How many Portlands were shut down? Oh, the gun violence reduction team. How about that? Was that shut down? Huh. Did you defund the police? Were you big on that whole defund the police thing? Did you prosecute any of the wildly out of control, violent rioters who were Antifa? How many of those people are in jail doing long-term sentences? Yeah. So you just let this situation is just, it's gotten out of control. Like stiffer penalties for street racing and gun violence prevention. I mean, some of the street racing examples we're seeing coming out of Portland, I mean, they're as strong as anywhere. You've got them shutting down major four-way intersections with hundreds of people surrounding to the point where 911 calls are made from, ambulances and cops got to go from one side of town to the other. And, they got to work around this massive, street race. And the street races have gotten so big that the police can't address them because they don't have enough personnel. Street racers, I don't know if you know this, but they're not holding hands with cops, right? There's a little bit of an adversarial relationship there because one's trying to uphold the law and the other is wildly breaking the law just out in the open, public streets. So you've got these events where you've literally, and I think this was probably 2 weeks ago, you had, I don't know, was it 200, 300, 400, 500 people at one of these races? And the cops basically, Portland Police Bureau basically said, hey, yeah, we can't address that. We do not have the manpower to address that and everything else going on in the city. So we because, we show up, things get out of control. You got a mob of hundreds of people. That's a hard no-go. So, Portland, this is what you get. You are basically in, I talked about it the other day. You're in an Escape from New York setting, whereas every man, woman, and child is on their own. One of my other podcasts today is going to be on how Portland is basically recommending to give more training to citizens so that they can intervene when the cops can't come, when something violent is happening to a member of the community. Yeah, not more police, but have other citizens intervene because somebody's getting the crap beat out of them. Do you think that's going to fly? If you're a citizen, are you going to get involved with some crazy person with a hatchet or a, machete or a sword or, piece of rebar, smoking fentanyl, maybe high on, meth, just doing wacky nutty stuff? You want to get involved with that? I don't. Neither do the citizens of Portland. So this whole concept of, let's not address the real underlying issues, which is, crime and violence are just way out of control. You need to start dropping the hammer on folks. You need to throw some people in jail. That's never going to happen based on this guy here. Yeah, it's a Schmidt show. I think that'd be deserving of a t-shirt right there. Welcome to the Schmidt show. Picture of his face with a big line through it. Or no more Schmidt show line through it. Our office will continue to defund the Schmidt show. I could continue, but I'm not going to. Our office will continue to focus on prosecuting cases and achieving positive outcomes, and DA remains dedicated to a smart collaborative approach to justice and public safety. Boy, those are some words, aren't they? Those are some words that don't really mean a lot, because meanwhile, back in reality town, you've got record levels of violence, gun violence, car theft, you name it, homelessness. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? All right. Here's a little, here's some Andy No action. I haven't talked with Andy No in a while. Mr. Andy No on Twitter. This large political advert just went up in downtown Portland, Oregon. Antifa accounts reacting online are quite upset, with some suggesting they could burn it down. That does seem to be the answer from the far left, doesn't it? Well, burn it down. Chop a tree down, burn it down, try and burn up the police car, burn up people's homes being built, near Cop City. Just burn it down. Fire, try and burn the federal building down in Portland. Burn it down. And they say that the far right is the one that's behind all the violence. Yeah. What was that video I saw that Jonathan Cho posted that got him fired? I think it was the Proud Boys doing a parade down the street carrying flags. And then we got burn it down. So I guess you choose which extremists you want to work with. During the 2020 deadly Black Lives Matter Antifa riots in Portland, Schmidt's office automatically dropped nearly all of the rioters' charges. And that's when the police are like, yeah, all right. If you want to let this go, we're not putting our lives on the line. You guys are full of nonsense. I almost said this. You guys are full of the Schmidt show. You guys are full of Schmidt. Should we start saying that? This is so Schmitty. This is a Schmitty podcast. Yeah. So if you want to check that out, there's some funny responses to Andy No's tweet. I mean, people just get into it, right? But here's a response. Here's one of those guys from Antifa right here. That guy's, yeah. Here's somebody's comment on the post-millennial and Andy No. Personally, I don't like graffiti, but I'll make an exception if someone decides to use this billboard as their canvas, one user tweeted before going on to question why having fewer people in prison was being branded as a negative, because they're running around your streets committing crimes. And some people don't really want to live in that environment. But guess what, Portland? You get to, because this is what you voted in. Here you are. 75% voted in the Schmidt show. Very progressive. That's very progressive. Now you just have to kind of work with it. Just like Chicago's going to have to go another however many years that their mayor is going to be there. You didn't vote in somebody who was going to be a little bit tougher on crime that had the confidence of the police union. You went with another progressive. How's that working out? For me, it's great because I'm going to have podcasts for days. But for the citizens of Portland who care about, I don't know, public safety in general, yeah. Can you set up a Schmidt bucket near the poster where people can donate their pet and personal Schmidts, and from which passerbyers can scoop some mixed Schmidt to throw onto the poster? Yeah, people are just making fun. They're like, they don't like this poster. An account run by John Colin Hacker, the man who was on trial last year for the 2019 robbing of the post-millennials Andy No, commented that People for Portland's billboard had the same bootlicker energy as a pro-law enforcement display put up by the Portland News Network and included a clip of it being set on fire. This is Portland. You got anarchy going on. Let's make bets on how much money this non-grassroots organization led by non-Portlanders paid for this disinfo campaign, Hacker wrote in another tweet. I guess $100,000. Well, are they non-Portlanders? Are they? Is it a disinfo campaign? What is inaccurate with anything that's said on this billboard? I'm listening. And if you don't agree with my position, tell me what I'm missing. Exactly which part, which, headlines on this am I missing? Which ones are incorrect? It looks so flammable, another user responded. Here we go. If you don't like it, burn it. That's their attitude. So if you want to live in a world where anything we don't agree with, I just burn it up. I mean, that's violence right there. That's violence. You're promoting violence. And yet time and time again, you'll see these Antifa accounts just promote violence. And we've got a real call to action event coming today. Yeah, that just means they're going to go out and break some windows because nothing says change like a broken window, right? I find many people don't understand what policies and elected positions impact Portland livability. And education is very key. This is from Angela Todd, founder of PDX Real, a popular Instagram account highlighting crime and homelessness issues in Portland. Many people are excited to see the billboard as it informs the public about the district attorney's poor performance. That's the way I saw it. It just breaks down reality. Here's your reality. How is that working out for you? And I'm not going to wait for an answer because we know what the reality is. It's not working out all that good. Portland is not shining. Let's just say that. When the mayor of Seattle, and hey, Seattle's got its problems too. Seattle's got some harsh realities. In the last couple of days, probably in the last week, we, found a dead body in a homeless tent that had been there for 2 weeks. Yeah, right by Mariner Stadium. Yeah, we give zero shits about our homeless. Found another 66-year-old woman who'd been strangled, had the life taken out of her, wrapped up in a blue tarp and left in a homeless encampment right off Mercer Street, one of the busiest streets into downtown Seattle in the North End. You got stuff like that going on. I mean, and our mayor, this kind of stuff's going on. Our mayor comes right out and says, Seattle's mayor comes right and says, when he wants to go for just a low blow, I mean, he's just going right for where, and he's just going to double the guy over. He goes with, at least we're not Portland. Oof, that was a good one. I thought that was a good one. I don't usually talk highly about what political officials say, but that was funny. At least we're not Portland. So this PDX Real, pdx.real, if you're on Instagram, check that out. They've got some great stuff. I follow them on Instagram. And, I think they've got really, really entertaining videos. Some of the videos coming out of there, you think this has got to be fake. This has got to be, it's not. Oh, it's just Portland. It's just Portland. This isn't the first time the group has gone after Schmidt. In March, they released a series of ads attacking him and his disastrous policies. Under the policies of this district attorney, Mike Schmidt, we have record gun violence, shootings, and murders, one ad says. Schmidt wants to fool us that fewer prosecutions mean fewer crimes. What's up with this? Seriously, how can you spin this in such a way that people are like, you know what? A lot of good, solid changes are happening here. Less people in jail. They're all running around the streets and they're in homeless encampments and they're all on drugs and, they're committing, all sorts of crimes and murders and shootings. And we've just got a lot of stuff going on in Portland. None of it good. Stores leaving, big chains leaving. You got the Green Zebra, the mini mart of organic foods. It just closed up all 3 of its, chain stores. Just no can do. Can't make a go of it. Not good. All kinds of business leaving Portland. And then you've got the district attorney saying that sign right there, that's disinfo. Because here's what we're working on. And you listen to this and you're like, what? Yeah. It makes zero sense, does it? It makes zero sense. Well, the sense that it does make is this type of district attorney. This is what you get. This is what you get. You get record shootings, record murders, record violence, the whole shebang. Portland's got it. And you know what? I'm going to have podcasts literally for years. We're just going to cover different angles. We're going to cover all the topics, different angles. I hope you're there with me. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. Also check us out. We're dropping at least 2 podcasts a week on the private network. And we've got some good stuff there because anything with certain words in it, in the title, in anywhere within the podcast, it's getting a kibosh on it. It's getting censored. So reasonabletv.com. It's our members only section. It's where some of the stuff that's going to get censored elsewhere, you're going to find it there. Thanks in advance. Thanks for subscribing. I'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.